Here with Joel Dowley of Two Men and a Truck. And Joel, what I wanted to talk to you about, what's going on here?
I think Truckee has found some money, and he's really excited at that extra cash.
Found money, always good. And if you're going to be moving, you're always worried about how much it costs.
Cost comparisons are very important when it comes to moving. No matter if you have plenty of money and you're not worried about that, it's probably because you've been very careful with your money anyway.
Indeed.
So what's important in making a cost comparison is that you're looking at all the real factors that go into the cost of a move. Sometimes people simply say, well, I'm looking at my hourly rate. And while that's one part of the cost of a move, it's not the entire part. So when you're comparing costs, make sure you're really comparing apples to apples. You say, I've got a flat rate. Okay, but what are the terms of that flat rate? If a mover is quoted a 2-bedroom apartment and shows up to a 5-bedroom house, that flat rate's going to change. So when you're comparing cost, make sure that you've asked all of the elements of the move and what are the costs. Is there additional costs for fuel? Is there additional costs for travel or for stairs or an elevator or anything special like that?
Oh, by the way, I have a piano, and can you pack everything?
That's right. Those are the kinds of things that can affect the cost. So when you're comparing your costs, as is important to do, make sure that you're looking at everything that might be involved in your move so that you can make an accurate cost comparison. And you really know which mover is going to give you a better value for your money.
And being honest with your mover, too, about what you have.
That's very important as well.
And that's what Joel Dowley of Two Men and a Truck says. Cost counts. In the very busy parking lot and warehouse of Two Men and a Truck, I'm here with Joel Dowley, and you've been thinking about your mom.
Well, I've been thinking that my mom always said that reputation was very important. And in selecting a moving company, you should consider the reputation of that company. Now, reputation is what people say about you. Sometimes people say things that aren't true, but overall, you hope that what people say about you is a good reflection of who you are as a person and as a moving company. So before you make a decision on a mover, make sure you know what that mover's reputation is. One of the things that I recommend is going to your local Palm Beach or Treasure Coast realtor and asking them. They've got experience with people who have moved.
Oh, we've heard stories.
That's right. Also, talk to family and friends, neighbors who have moved recently, and hear their stories. Find out movers that have done a great job or some that have left some problems.
It's also good to know how long the mover has been in business. You've been around for 10 years now.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. And a reputation is something that you earn over time. Now, another possibility is to go online. The Better Business Bureau is a good source to check. Sites like Angie's List or Yelp or other review sites can give you an idea of what experiences other people have had and what they're saying about the mover that you're considering.
So get to know your mover before you move.
Very good advice.
And you can find out more about Two Men and a Truck from our website, southfloridahomesandlifestyles.com. Joel Dowley, thanks.
Thanks, Kurt.
This is the warehouse of Two Men and a Truck. I'm talking with Joel Dowley and, of course, Truckee. And we're talking about factors that you need to consider when picking a mover, Joel.
Well, there are a number of very important factors. The reputation of the moving company that you're considering is very important. Of course, cost is always very important. Just a minute.
This must be a short consultation in this interview. Yes?
Well, Truckee's reminding me that you should be real.
Okay.
Now, I know Truckee is a mascot, and he's not a real truck.
An awesome mascot.
But Truckee reminds us that to be real when you're selecting a mover. Pick a real mover. Get a mover who is licensed. Get a mover that has a real location in your neighborhood, in your area. Find someone that has a location in Palm Beach County or the Treasure Coast that you can go to. I recommend sometimes that you even call and ask if you can come visit your mover prior to you making your selection.
Because if you come in contact with a middleman, you may have some problems down the line.
You can go online and get a broker that's going to set up a move, and it may sound pretty good, but you've got, like you said, the middleman involved, and much more likely that there are going to be problems when it comes time to doing the move. And you want to make sure that the mover that you're using is nearby, so that if there's a problem after the move, you know who you can talk to and where you can go to get that resolved.
And you can look them right in the eye.
Very important.
And we're here in a real warehouse with Joel Dowley and a real awesome mascot, Truckee. And you can find out more on our website, southfloridahomesandlifestyles.com. Joel Dowley, thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
Here at Two Men and a Truck with Joel Dowley and Truckee, who just loves to dance. But we're talking about packing here, Joel.
Well, and as I like to say, packing is the opposite of dancing.
How's that?
Well, in dancing, you want movement and touching. In packing, we want no movement, and if there is movement, we want to make sure there's no touching.
So what do you tell your customers? What needs to be professionally packed?
Well, first of all, you need everything that will fit. This is a medium-sized box. As a general rule, if it will fit into that box, it needs to be packed by someone, either by the customer or by the mover, before the movers come to actually move the things.
Right.
Now, it's a decision that the customers can make. Some like to pack their own things. Some like to hire a professional to do it all. It's also a choice to be able to have have your mover do some of it and have you do some of your own.
But someone's going to be responsible. If you have some Tupperware or something and toss into a box as a homeowner, that's okay. But if it's mom's china,
well, that's important, and there is a greater responsibility for the mover if there's a damage, if it's been packed by the mover as opposed to a box packed by the owner.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing that's important is making sure you're using the right supplies.
Mm-hmm.
Sturdy boxes with a lid that will close. We have packing paper, bubble wrap. Any of those are okay as long as you make sure that the things in it are being packed so that they don't move, and if they do move, they don't touch.
No dancing in the packing.
Don't let your dishes dance.
Joel Dowley, Two Men in a Truck. Good advice about packing. Here with Joel Dowley of Two Men and a Truck, who says that every successful move is a partnership. Why do you say that, Joel?
Well, there are roles for each, the customer and the mover. And if each is performing their roles correctly, the move goes the most smoothly.
Okay, you do the moving. What does the customer do?
Well, I'm not suggesting that as a customer you should help the mover move the couch. That's for the movers. But one of the things would be to make sure that the mover understands all the things that you want in your move. For example, we're 2 men and a truck, but if you have a greater need, we can send you 3 men, or we can send you 4 men and 2 trucks. So make sure that you're communicating with your mover what you need, what resources they're going to need.
And don't tell them that you have 2 bedrooms when you really have 4.
The correct information is always better. It's always better. And sometimes you may have an additional stop you want to have. You may have some things that need to be last on the truck and first off the truck. All those are details that are different for every move, and it's perfectly fine. But when there's a partnership between the customer and the move is going to go more smoothly.
We have a cheap print here and no problem to move, but if this were a Picasso, you'd want to know.
We could give it the attention that it deserves if we knew that information. That would be correct.
And they should be there too.
Being there for the move is very important. Questions will come up during the move, and if a customer is right there and can give us directions, we're going to be able to do a far superior job for that customer. Very important to be there.
A successful move is a two-way street. Joel Dowley, 2 Men and a Truck. Call him or go to our website, southfloridahomesandlifestyles.com. Joel Dowley, thanks for being here.